Hello and welcome to the channel. In this video, we will be looking at reasons why the entire Northeast region is strategically important to India. Before anything, I would like to state that I hail from one of the states in Northeast, but this video will not be based on prejudice but pure facts and logic. Yesterday, June 4th, a No Northeast campaign stormed Twitter from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. and by 7:30 p.m., two hashtags which are hashtag a chapter for Northeast and hashtag Northeast Matters were trending at number 2 and number 3 in India. This movement was triggered by repeated racial discriminations against Northeasterns by people from mainland India. Owing to the movement, if you are in touch with the news, you would know why such discrimination happens. Ignorance. Ignorance towards the history, society, and culture of the Northeast region. But they are missing out on the importance of Northeast. So let's get started with why mainland India requires the Northeast region to be part of India. Point number 1. National security. For almost a century, many parts of the Northeast region has been causing internal security threats to India. But India has never budged and has been consistently adamant on keeping the region. Here's why. Imagine for once, India gave sovereignty to the states of Northeast. These small states, which are highly reliant on grants and aids of the central government except for Assam, will remain economically weak and poor even after attaining sovereignty. At this hour, these poor nations will be more than willing to provide strategic base to any country in exchange for economic assistance. What if China entices these newly formed nations with billions of dollars of investment while indirectly establishing military bases? This would be a nightmare to India. Even now, the Indian government and the Indian armed forces have great fear of this happening. You see, the entire Northeast region is a landlocked region, meaning it is surrounded by land only and has no border with the sea. And this region is connected to the mainland India by a very narrow strip of land called the Siliguri Corridor. It is only 22 kilometers wide, and this is why it is also called Chicken's Neck. India's fear is when conflict arises between China and India, and China decides to take over this small corridor, then the entire northeastern region will be cut off from mainland India, and the hold of China will only increase. At such juncture, there are only two ways for India to reach northeast. The first way is straight through Bangladesh into Meghalaya, and the second one is through Bay of Bengal into Myanmar and then Mizoram. But since the 1970s, India has been trying to convince Bangladesh to allow the transit through their country, but Bangladesh has never accepted the request, which leaves us with only the second option. Fortunately, Myanmar has agreed with this option, and therefore India has invested around $500 million on a project called Kaladan Multimodal Transit Transport Project. This project is to connect Kolkata in India and Sidway in Myanmar via Bay of Bengal, and from Sidway district to Paletwa town in Myanmar via Kaladan River, and from Paletwa to Mizoram and then to the rest of the northeast by road. Also, in order to reduce traffic through Sidway, India is also developing a small railway line from Cox's Bazar in Bangladesh to South Tripura. So this strategic importance that India knows about the Northeast is why India is doing everything to keep it. The Toglam standoff in 2017 between India and China is a very recent example as to how close China can come to cutting off Northeast from mainland India, and India must give ever-increasing attention to this. Point number 2. Economic reasons. In 1991, India launched a very important foreign policy called Look East Policy in order to focus our trade and commerce with Southeast Asian countries. This was relaunched in 2014 by a new name called Act East Policy, and India considers this as one of the most important foreign policies with regard to economic and security integration. This policy covers many countries in the Indo-Pacific region, but the foremost are the members of Association of Southeast Asian Nations. They are Myanmar, Thailand, Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam, Malaysia, Singapore, Brunei, Philippines, and Indonesia. This is India. As you can see, the Northeast India is the only window to these countries. Rail and road connectivity, which are the cheapest modes of transportation, can be done only via Northeast. India cannot achieve a better connection with East and Southeast Asia without Northeast region at its side. That is why we are witnessing a lot of central government expenditure on such infrastructure in Northeast. This policy is also a form of counter-reaction to growing influence of China in Southeast Asia. Besides Act East policy, we also have the Asian Highway Network, which will provide connectivity between most of the Asian countries. Asian Highway 1 and Asian Highway 2 runs through Northeast India. The Asian Highway 1 connects 32 Asian countries and is also part of India-Myanmar-Thailand Trilateral Highway, and it crosses Imphal, Kohima, Dimapur, Shillong, and many northeastern districts. The northeastern part of the highway that comes from Indonesia will be called Asian Highway 2, and it also crosses Imphal, Kohima, Dimapur, Shillong, and many others. So much is going on in the Northeast with respect to India's economic interests. This is why there is no chance of depreciation of value for Northeast region if India is to excel economically. Point number 3. Natural resources. The population of northeastern states combined is 3.8% of India's population, and total land area is almost 8% of total area of land. Clearly shows the abundance of land resources. India's national forest policy has a target of achieving 33% total forest cover in the country in terms of geographical area. Right now, it's only 25%. If you look at the percentage of highest forest covers in the country, the top 5 states are Mizoram, Arunachal Pradesh, Meghalaya, Manipur, and Nagaland. Clearly shows the abundance of forest resources. The Northeast region has hundreds of freshwater bodies and rivers, including the widest river in India, the Brahmaputra. These rivers provide the natives with food, drinking water, irrigation, hydroenergy. However, the production of hydroenergy has not been explored to its full potential. Also clearly shows the abundance of water resources and hydropower energy. According to Geological Survey of India, the Northeast region has mineral reserves worth more than 10 lakh crore rupees. This includes hundreds of million tons of coal, limestone, dolomite, graphite, iron ore, and bauxite. And even recently, the GSI included Arunachal Pradesh in the vanadium map because it has found that Arunachal Pradesh has potential reserve of the rare element called vanadium. Once again, clearly shows the abundance of unexplored natural resources in Northeast. Last but not the least, point number 4. India's universal brotherhood intent and adoption of secularism. When India and Pakistan partitioned in 1947 on religious ground, Pakistan declared itself an Islamic state, but India did not declare itself a Hindu state.
Two nations will be created by partition, a secular India and a new homeland for India's Muslims, Pakistan.
This is because India followed the intent of universal brotherhood and unity in diversity. India has also time and again showed through the Constitution, Article 25 to 28, and Constitutional Amendment Act of 1976 that India is a secular country which accepts all kinds of religion. When this is the claim, if the people in mainland India rejects the diversity of the Northeast people, it goes against the great virtues that India wants to follow. Racial discrimination is the total opposite of the principle of unity in diversity, and therefore the country must, and is already supposed to be, dealing with such discrimination very seriously in order to maintain the identity of such principles in letter and spirit. So that is it, guys. I'm sure there are many other points that can be added here, but I hope I have done at least a little justification to this argument. Let us together hope that at least one chapter in Northeast India is added to NCERT textbooks. That in fact is the least they can do. Considering the vast diversity even within Northeast states, we deserve one whole textbook or even one whole semester on Northeast. Anyways, let's hope for the best. Thanks for joining in, and I'll see you in the next video.